me go ahead and add that. So we're still using StreamYard tonight. I have to give a quick shout out to a subscriber of mine, Quackshot. Quackshot helped me get my hands on StreamYard Premium. StreamYard Premium, so that's why you see the little section on the bottom right. You see 2022 midterms Texas primary live coverage. And so it's going to be interesting to use StreamYard because I actually can make my own sort of things like layouts, I guess, is the best way to say it. I can also I just realized I haven't been has my audio been on this entire time? Okay, I'm just making sure that my audio is working. Nope. I guess I wasn't. I'm so confused right now. I don't know, like, if whenever my background was on, I know the music was playing. It just turned off. God damn it. Yeah, I've been talking for the past like minute. I always do that on like big streams where I just end up just fumbling. Anyway, essentially a rundown of what I just said. I said I was talking about like it's going to be a very packed night tonight. Essentially, we're going to be watching the Texas primaries. We're waiting for results to come in right now. No results have been pouring in as of yet, and so we're going to be watching the Texas primaries, especially the governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general race. We're going to be watching those. We're going to see which Democrats and Republicans. A big one out of the Democratic race, I want to see if Michelle Beckley will win, because I have a feeling, I haven't been looking at a lot of the polls going into this race. Lieutenant governor race, Texas. So Michelle Beckley is a former representative, or is a representative of the state of Texas, and she is essentially. So let me actually look. So undecided. So a lot of people were going for Mcconaughey, and Beckley was number 2. It's a lot of undecided voters in the Democratic lieutenant governor race. A lot, like it's almost 50% undecided. That is massive. But anyway, so again, kind of a rundown of what I was saying earlier. Essentially, what we have is that we are going to be watching the Texas primaries. We're going to be watching the Texas primaries, watching to see who wins in the Republican race. The Republican race is going to be the highlight of tonight's stream. And at the same time, we're going to be talking about any updates that happens in the Russo-Ukrainian war, and in the we're going to be talking about anything again that comes out of Ukraine. We have a lot of cities that are surrounded by Russian forces. There was a vote today in the EU Parliament, and the European Union has accepted the application of Ukraine into the European Union. Now, this essentially, even if they lose in this war, essentially what they're trying to do is that they're trying to get as much financing as possible. The World Bank is giving them financing. The European Union is trying to give them loans in order for them to fight off Russia. And then in about an hour, less than an hour, in about 50 minutes, we'll be listening to the so we're going to be listening to the State of the Union being given by President Biden. And whenever that happens, we will essentially be listening for his comments on Ukraine. He's expected to talk a lot about Ukraine right now. He's also going to be trying to get his domestic agenda passed. So while we watch these election results come in, we're going to be again waiting for we're going to be listening to the State of the Union. So very packed night for politics and geopolitics tonight. There's a lot of news. And if you actually noticed, you can actually see that StreamYard looks a lot different. So you can actually see that there is a little logo on the top right for me. Yeah, and I can actually change that. So I can actually change it to the Ukrainian flag as I have changed it. Or I could go back and say it's powered by StreamYard. Or I could go back to the Ukrainian flag, or it's back to my logo. Or I could go to this. So I have a lot of options right here. And then I can also use this live as StreamYard, or I can create my own like I did tonight, and I have it like that. So I got it so you guys know what the topic is tonight, and essentially we can create our own. And then as well, you can hear music in the background, and this music is changeable, and it loops. That way, you just don't hear dead silence in the background. And I have to give a quick shout out to my boy Quackshot. Quackshot helped me get my hands on this, essentially mainly because I ran out of so StreamYard free apparently has like 20 hours of stream time that you're able to use on a free plan. And I ran up on that because of my coverage of the Russo-Ukrainian invasion, the Russian invasion of Ukraine. So I have to give a very big shout out to Quackshot for supporting my channel in the way that he has been. I also have to thank him for his service. He is a U.S. service member in the United States Army. So Quackshot, if you're out there, go ahead and say something. And apparently he's not in. So whenever he pops up later, I'll make sure to, again, thank him so much for the StreamYard and as well for his service to this country. And again, we're still waiting on the results. No results as of yet. Well, we actually have some results out of So let's go ahead and get this started. We actually have some results coming out of the Democratic primary for governor. So let's see. And we have, let me go ahead and get this switched over. We have Beto O'Rourke winning 90% of the vote with 9% in as of right now. So we're going to be watching the Dallas-Fort Worth area as well as this area right here. This is the Rio Grande Valley, in which there is a very high concentration of Hispanic voters down here. We're going to see what that looks like compared to the Republican primaries. And I don't know if you guys heard me earlier whenever I thought I was had my microphone on. What we're going to be watching in the lieutenant governor primary is for the Democratic race. So we're going to be watching to see if, I'm pretty sure Dan Patrick is going to win this, by the way. I'll actually go through and I'll probably tell you guys who I voted for, because I did vote. I did vote today. I got up bright and early at 7 o'clock. I actually needed a nap later on, but I got up bright and early at 7 o'clock to go vote in this primary because I was not able to go vote early, but I made sure to get my vote in. Got my I voted sticker and everything. So Grinds, what's up? AP, what's up? Comrade, Luca, RG's in the chats. Kane, Aiden. Do you think that Texas is getting a battleground state instead of a solid red state? They're definitely not solid anymore. They are basically considered a battleground, so they are going to be a very central state in politics in the next couple of election cycles. So yes, Texas is a battleground. It's just a matter of whether Republicans can get their message back on track to stop that battleground status. And we'll know back in 2022, as well as in 2024, there is no Senate race in 2022, but there is governor's races. So we will be able to analyze what the state level elections look like. So we'll basically have a little bit of a idea, I guess. PG, you like my TPP proposal? Yes. What's up, PG? Ama, what's up? Ama Kate? What's up, PG? I love your PNR videos. Thank you so much. I'm glad you like them. What CPP proposal? It's essentially like what foreign policy would look like. I need to post it in the Discord. I think he posted on Discord like publicly for other people to see, but I don't know. Depends on where the GOP goes. Countries are going to war with each other, and I don't know if I should go to war with them or not. They're coming near my border. And are you talking? Oh, you're talking about power and revolution. Stop saying that. Whenever there's a war going on, like, we may have some results coming out of Texas very soon for the Republican primary. And what we're going to be looking at for governor, so Greg Abbott is going to be challenged by two big candidates tonight. It's going to be Alan West and Don Huffines. A lot of people wanted you to go out and vote for Don Huffines. What we could see is that there's going to be enough votes going out for Alan West and other candidates. Apparently there's a Rick Perry on the ballot, but it's not the Rick Perry that you're thinking about. All right, we got some big results coming out of Texas. What they're going to be trying to do is to get Greg Abbott under 15%. We have 15% of the vote in as of right now. And it's actually really funny. Let me actually get this for you guys. What we have, according to House Bill 1, apparently you can have live camera feeds of these what do you call it, election centers. So if I can actually bring you this, you can watch the election tabulations take place. This is Denton County. So you can actually see live footage of people counting the votes. So very interesting stuff coming out of Texas tonight. I was going through and I was trying to see some of the numbers for Denton County to see how many people went early voted, and I found this and I'm like, Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? It says, in accordance with Senate Bill 1, live streaming cameras will be available showing the secured areas that house voted ballots for the time our office receives the voted ballots through the canvass of the current election. Once the election administration office receives voted ballots for the next election, live camera streaming will resume. Additionally, the audio is not available on any camera, although the icon for sound remains in the toolbar. So we can actually see again right here that we can watch live footage from the election tabulation taking place in the state of Texas, well, at least in Denton County. So we can apparently do it for every county throughout the state of Texas. So Greg Abbott, actually 15% of the vote is in. We're waiting. Whose campaign war chest exceeds 60 million. He's likely to easily avoid a runoff, but he faces some noisy and well-funded opposition, which could mean a margin of victory narrower than he would like. Better work is all but certain to be his Democratic opponent. We're also going to be trying to see whether Greg Abbott can outperform Trump in the metropolitan areas. And then we're also, again, going to be seeing what the support for Greg Abbott is in the southern Rio Grande Valley. I'm just going to watch you because it is as hectic as other streams and also more personal, which I like. Thank you. How is it more personal? What do you mean by that? Like I pay attention to the chat? Alright, so still waiting. So Ken Paxton, George P. Bush. George P. Bush. Okay, so let me go through and I'll tell you guys who I voted for today. So I didn't vote for Greg Abbott. I don't like Greg Abbott. I was not convinced on Huffines. So I ended up voting for Alan West. I sort of like Alan West, even though I kind of disagree with some of the stuff he said, especially about Texas secession and all that. I don't like Greg Abbott. I wasn't convinced on Huffines. Again, some people are going to say, well, you threw away your vote. Get that, like, hire Huffines. And I'm just like, again, I personally just was not convinced on Huffines. He is an America Firster. But for some stupid reason, I don't know why. And I think Trump is because Trump makes some really interesting endorsements because for whatever stupid reason, he endorsed Abbott. Like, if he came out and supported Huffines, he probably, like, we would be looking at way more of a interesting primary. And you can actually see Beto O'Rourke is winning by a landslide with 21% of the vote. I believe that we are going to be looking. It's 100% certain, not even 99. We're looking at 100% certainty that Beto O'Rourke is going to win this primary. So I will go ahead and the Politics Gaming Decision Desk has decided that Beto O'Rourke will become the next Democratic nominee for governor of the state of Texas. The Politics Gaming Decision Desk, guys. Sorry. And Ken Paxton, please go into a runoff. Can we please get this guy to go into a runoff? I will. For Attorney General, I voted for George P. Bush. I absolutely loathe Ken Paxton. So I absolutely hope this goes into a runoff, and I will vote in that runoff for George P. Bush. Please, Ken Paxton, please go into a runoff. But hopefully, this is actually within a point of each other. Hopefully, Ava Guzman does not overtake George P. Bush. I do prefer George P. Bush for Attorney General. George P. Bush would be chill, yeah. And then again, what we're going to be looking at for... Okay, so... Democratic primary for Lieutenant Governor. So we have... Let's push the state government hard to the right and expected to coast to victory. To a primary victory. Several Democrats are competing to challenge Mr. Patrick as they see him as vulnerable in the general election. Dan Patrick, of course, he is winning with 79% of the vote. Good Lord. Rockwell County has apparently come in, and as well as Cook County. I voted for Daniel Miller. Again, I don't like Patrick, and I wasn't really informed of any of the other candidates. None of them really stuck out to me during this primary, so I just ended up voting for Daniel Miller. And Democratic primary, what again I really am looking for, I believe if this does go to a primary, Michelle Beckley could have a shot. And if Michelle Beckley is the one that I was really paying attention to this entire time, because I really wanted to see whether she could actually win. She actually tried to run against, it was one of the House candidates in, it was one of the House candidates in, I think it was Texas 24. It was Beth Vander something. And it was Beth, the Texas 24 Beth is what I'll call her. I'll just call her Beth. Anyway, she tried to run against her in the House race, and then she was just like, oh, wait, no, I'm going to run for lieutenant governor. And she was actually, Michelle Beckley was my representative whenever I lived in the city of Louisville. So this was my representative whenever I lived in Louisville, and recently moved out of Louisville, and she's still the Texas House member from Louisville. So that is her current seat right now. So again, I will be watching for that. Maybe we'll go into a runoff. I mean, Mike Collier only has to win another 4.5% and he can win. So we will see what happens. Now Beckley is apparently winning in Liscombe County. Then all races. Kathleen Brown. Yeah, and Ronnie Jackson was uncontested in District 13. Michael Burgess is going to be winning his seat this time. Let me actually see who's running against him. No one is challenging Michael Burgess in the Democratic primary? Seriously? Are you kidding me? Huh. So, Michael Burgess will become the next representative from Texas 26. Michael Burgess was my representative for so long. I mean, it's ever since I moved into the DFW area. Should I run for House, guys? I'm gonna run for House. So State Board of Education. I need to get my voter registration card out just so I can start looking at my races. So we got 24% of the vote is in from the governor's race in Texas for the Republicans. Don Huffines, yeah, very likely will not go to a runoff. There's so much support for Don Huffines, but just not, I don't think it's going to be enough. Like 68% is a lot to eat into. There has to be so many Huffines votes out there. Denton County isn't even in yet, but 48% in from Dallas County, 60% in from Tarrant County, Collin County 62% in. Yeah, I seriously don't think there's enough votes out there just by all of the big counties coming in. I mean, there has to be a crap ton of Don Huffines votes out in Harris County for it to make a difference. Your cat is loud. Yeah, I know. I noticed that. I was looking at my microphone and I saw it picking up on my cat, and I was just like, damn it. She is out of the room, so no more cat. PG was attacked by his cat. I don't know why Decision Desk is still going by the old maps. Better work. Yeah, look at that. He's getting 90% of the vote everywhere. Do you stand Beto's win? I do not. Absolutely not. Texas 35th. And that pisses me off that Texas 35 is still looking god-awful on the map. Given District 13 looks like shit. District 4 looks god-awful. So we got the State of the Union in 30 minutes. We're going to be waiting for that. This election should wrap up pretty quickly, so we won't be on stream for too long. How's Henry doing? Where is he? Chad Prather. Only with 1.7% of the vote. I don't know why, but I always, for some reason in my head, I've always thought that Texas was one of the states that literally had like jungle primaries, except no, I'm an idiot. Quackshot, hey, how are you doing? Again, I want to give a big shout out to Quackshot for helping me get my hands on StreamYard Premium. It's a very, very, very lovely streaming service, and that allows me to stream more on StreamYard, as well as give more high quality looking videos whenever I do go on stream. So big shout outs to Quackshot, and also again, thank you so much for your service to this country. I have quite a bit of tail. I just left M17 range working with officers today. This colonel is telling me how he's special forces, guy fires 16 rounds to hit one target, then asks for more bullets. That's funny. Heat sessions in District 17. And I guess while we wait, we're just going to be watching the live stream from... Again, this is the weirdest thing. This is the weirdest thing. So Attorney General George P. Bush is in the lead. Is at least in second place, 21.7 to 20.7. George P. Bush is leading Eva Guzman by about 1 point exactly. So, but he's Guzman is pretty damn close in the vote count. So again, my hope is that we're going to be looking at George P. Bush going into the runoff against Ken Paxton. Work as a vote counter. PG's getting us ready for our olden years. Oh man, I love RG. RG, you're so funny. Just realized my mic was muted again. I want to see if I saw something and it said Gumert shouldn't have ran for AG, and I said, yeah, I agree. But the question is, where would those Gumert voters have gone? Would they have gone to Guzman, or would they have gone Bush? Guzman is losing a little bit. Bush is now ahead 1.1 points. I want to see if like how Gumert can do literally in his district, like his former district where a lot of the counties were. I want to see how he can do in places like Nacogdoches and Angelina County. So, because apparently he's pulling off almost 50% of the vote. Yeah, see, Cherokee County just came in. So Nacogdoches and Angelina are going to be the ones that I'm looking at here. In a Democratic primary, same thing. I'm going to be looking at Angelina and Nacogdoches County as well. Ellis County is Lee Merritt, apparently. Wait, this is Attorney... Oh, that's Attorney General. Okay. Literally have no idea who these people are. So again, Michelle Beckley is going to be the one that we are looking at here. Michelle Beckley is pulling off in Denton County. Look at that. Very interesting. So Mike Collier is pulling off in Dallas and Tarrant County. We're going to see what Collin County can do. But to see that Michelle Beckley is at least winning her home county is going to be interesting. And that'll also be the biggest thing about this election is how well, if Michelle Beckley can win the runoff, how well can Michelle Beckley do in Denton County will be very important. Sorry about that. I had a phone call. Really like this music. I really like this music. I'm actually like, this is actually a bop. I don't say that often. I don't like saying that. This is a bop. I love it. Thank you so much, Quackshot. I love you so much. No homo. 28th district. Let's check. Let's check the 28th district of Texas if I can find it. Wait, it was right there. Cassie Garcia, 33.6% of the votes to 12.5 against Stephen Fowler. And in the Democratic primary, we're looking at Jessica Cisneros, 68%. So could be Oh, that's what you were talking about. Whoa, what's going on in the 26th, 28th district? I have not been paying attention. I'm sorry. We actually might be seeing an incumbent being overtopped. Cisneros. Okay, so this was probably a little expected. It's very interesting to see that incumbents can lose. So, incumbent Jessica Cisneros. Incumbent got his house raided by the app. Why? What did he do? We got the State of the Union in 15 minutes. So once that happens, we will pause the music, and we'll be listening to the State of the Union in the background. Mueller is a moderate, while Cisneros is a progressive. Now, the question for that is, what is that going to do? Could that alienate a lot of the voters? Could that, how will the Hispanic majority part of that district react to a progressive on the ballot? All right, we're going to be looking at, we're just kind of waiting for all these election results to come in. So we got 68%, 40% of the vote is in. Abbott, I'm pretty sure, is going to win this. Unfortunately. Yeah, Huffines hasn't even budged, 12%. And Allen West, just again, is not doing well. I mean, both of them haven't even cracked 12.5%. So Better O'Rourke will be walking away tonight with the Democratic nomination. Ken Paxton, we're still looking at a possible runoff in this. 29% of the vote is in. I really, really hope Bush can get away with the runoff. I really hope this is going to happen. Please, Guzman. Everyone, stop voting for Guzman. Stop it. Stop it now. That was a... So again, look at this. Look at this. I was correct. I was correct. That was a good analysis on my part. In the places that in the places that were a part of the district of the first district of Texas in Nacogdoches County, he is performing exceptionally well. So Nacogdoches and Angelina. So Angelina's gonna come in, and I'm pretty sure Angelina's gonna have a very strong showing for Gomer. That is so cool that you can draw it like that and geographically. I love that. I love that so much. Smith County, that is Tyler. Look at Houston, PG, that might end Bush. Harris County still hasn't come in. Yeah, once Harris County comes in, Harris and Denton County, once those come in, it's going to dramatically change the outlook of this election. Or it could come out the same way that it is right now. But we're really going to wait for Harris and Denton County for right now, as well as Angelina County. These are pretty small counties. They're not going to shift the election. I mean, they could actually at this point. This is a point difference. Jesus Christ. It's like 5,000 votes that separates Bush and Guzman. Come on. Bush needs to win this. He needs to stay in second place. No! No! I say that. I got jinxed. Guzman, stop it. Stop it, Guzman. And Lieutenant Governor. Yep, Dan Patrick will be walking away with this nomination tonight. And Michelle Beckley. Well, very easily, most likely, I'm pretty sure Michelle Beckley is going to go to the runoff. This is definitely going to go to the runoff. 42% in Denton County. Now, if she loses Denton County, that's going to be bad news for her. Again, she's still going to walk away with this nomination, but like if she's losing in Denton County, that's bad news. Let's again look at District 28, 68, 8 to 24. About 9 minutes away from the State of the Union. So what about here? Denton County is still not reporting. What are y'all doing? What the hell are you doing? One of them is gonna get on their phone and just be like, "Hey, you're on YouTube." See, this is why it's taking so long for Denton County to report, because these guys are just sitting on their asses. Just kidding. They're not. I respect our election workers. They do a good job. Wait, where are y'all going? Where are y'all going? No! Stop! Count the votes! Yeah, on your phone. On your phone. What the hell's going on over here? They're counting the votes over here, and I can't look at it. Yeah, go over here and talk on your phone. That's fine. That's fine. Oh, they walked into here. I'm gonna see these guys one day, and I'm gonna go, why do y'all look so familiar? I was like, oh yeah, I did a live stream. I saw y'all on the live stream. I'm gonna go, that's creepy. This lady right here is she's just standing, trying to, yeah, turn on my live stream. She's trying to find my live stream. That's what she's doing. North sector. What about, is there no other sector? All of the action is happening over here. All of it's happening over here. I like how I can say action. It's just like, this is boring to literally everyone else except us. I will drive over there and I will say, move the camera and count the goddamn votes. George P. Bush, no! 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 Guzman! Bush is in third place! No! Harris County came in. Fuck. God damn it. Son of a ass. I'm so mad. Fuck. I'm saying fuck now, guys. Y'all have to donate. Donate. Get your mom's credit card and donate to the stream, please. So Wood County, Louis Gohmert. Again, Texas 1 is the former district of Texas 1 is definitely gonna be coming out for Gohmert. Angelina County is still yet to come in. God damn it. 38. It's still 38%, and it's within 2 points now. Or 1.5 points, actually. Bush, what are you doing? I'm not paying for your mistakes, Peachy. I loved that. I love that comment. Hang on. I'm not paying for your mistakes, Peachy. PG voted for Beto. Oh my god. Since Beto is on the ballot again now, that's gonna come back. Backstar in chat, guys. Backstar in chat. PG's so glad Beto is ahead of the Democrat. No, I'm not. I don't like Beto. I didn't vote for Beto. Donate the PG versus By Destiny 2 Witch Queen. Decisions. Yeah, PG voted for Beto. God damn it. That's what a conservative who voted for Beto would say. I am like the least conservative person that you would know. I never call myself a conservative. I call myself a right-wing populist. What y'all doing? What y'all doing? Count the goddamn votes. Yeah, you walking over here. You ain't doing your job. You ain't doing your job. Shaking my head. Oh, getting on the phone again. What you doing? What you doing? Come on. Come on. Come on. What are you doing? Don't get on your phone. Don't get on the phone. You got on the phone. Oh, man. Election nights are going to be fun with these cameras now. They better be calling in some Bush voters. The poll's already closed, unfortunately. I cannot wait for the I cannot wait for the what do you call it? Midterms. It's gonna be fun. Attorney General George P. Bush still in third place. Wait. You gained 1 point. Oh, God. Smith County and Angelina County. Wait. George P. Bush won Sutton County. Denton County still hasn't come in. And Lieutenant Governor, again, the big race that I'm paying attention to in the Lieutenant Governor is going to see whether Michelle Beckley can pull off a runoff. Can't you vote late as in the 2020? What? Stop trying to get me taken down. Oh crap, we're literally on the State of the Union now. So we're going to be waiting for the State of the Union to start up. Once that happens, we're going to take off the music. So State of the Union is going to start in the next minute or two. Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States. Who do you think would win the Dem Lieutenant Governor election? I'll have to look a little bit more into Mcconaughey, but I feel like Michelle Beckley could pull off an upset. And that's in the Democratic primary. Now, in the general, I don't know. I'm talking about the runoff. This is definitely going to go to a runoff with Collier and Beckley. And I will actually cover that election as well. So expect to see whenever these runoffs happen, I will be covering them on the channel. I don't call myself Texas Political Commentaries, but essentially I am Texas Political Commentaries. I am the true Texas Political Commentaries. Because I always talk about my good old state of Texas. All my exes live in Texas. George P. Bush is still number 3. Greg Abbott still ahead by a landslide margin. Beto O'Rourke just... Beto O'Rourke is having a good night tonight. Yep, and the New York Times has called Beto O'Rourke for the Democratic primary. And the race was called by the Associated Press. So this is called by the Associated Press. Beto O'Rourke will now become the next Democratic nominee for governor of the state of Texas. You can celebrate now. Why does everyone always say that I like Beto? I don't like Beto. Look at him. He looks stupid. Colin Alred is a nominee for District 32. Antonio Swad. Did anyone even vote in District 32? What the hell? PG crying tears of joy. I hate y'all. Our lieutenant governor is usually endorsed by governor's candidates. I believe so, because they sort of run on the same ticket. Let me actually see. So 2018 Texas governor. I believe they ran on the same ticket. No, No, they don't. So in other states, they run on the same ticket, but in Texas, they do not. They're in a completely separate election from the governor's election. Wikipedia already put Beto O'Rourke. Oh, that was the Democratic primary. Yeah, just go ahead and call Greg Abbott for the Texas governor's race already. We all already know Huffines is not. Yeah, look at Huffines. This is pretty disappointing for Huffines, honestly. Like, I mean, like with the amount of support that I thought. I mean, hell, like there was so much money that he poured into advertisements. I mean, it was all over. Okay, so that's the State of the Union. The State of the Union will start up very soon. Greg Abbott has been called by the Associated Press that will win the Texas Republican primary. Right at the same time, President Biden is about to give his State of the Union address. Well, we got all those Ukraine flags. Oh, I just realized. Let me redo this real quick. Just realized y'all couldn't hear the audio. So we're going to get that, and we're going to share system audio. Y'all should be able to hear it now. You can see General Mark Milley. Is that Mark Kirk? Okay, we're going to be turning down the music.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
I don't know why you don't.
Thank you. Thank you. Please.
Can y'all even hear it? Like, can y'all hear the address? Hear the address? Yeah, you can.
Thank you so much. Tonight, we meet as Democrats, Republicans, Independents, but most importantly, as Americans, with the duty to one another, to America, to the American people, to the Constitution, duty to one another, and an unwavering resolve that freedom will always triumph over tyranny. Thank you. Six days ago, Russia's Vladimir Putin sought to shake the very foundations of the free world, thinking he could make it bend to his menacing ways. But he badly miscalculated. He thought he could roll into Ukraine and the world would roll over. Instead, he met with a wall of strength he never anticipated or imagined. He met the Ukrainian people. And President Zelensky, to every Ukrainian, their fearlessness, their courage, their determination literally inspires the world. Groups of citizens blocking tanks with their bodies, everyone from students to retirees to teachers, turned soldiers defending their homeland. And in this struggle, President Zelensky said in his speech to the European Parliament, "Light will win over darkness." The Ukrainian ambassador to the United States is here tonight, sitting with the First Lady. Let each of us, if you're able to stand and send an unmistakable signal to the world of Ukraine. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She's bright, she's strong, and she's resolved. Yes. We, the United States of America, stand with the Ukrainian people. Throughout our history, we've learned this lesson. When dictators do not pay a price for their aggression, they cause more chaos. They keep moving, and the cost, the threats to America and America to the world keeps rising. That's why the NATO alliance was created, to secure peace and stability in Europe after World War II. The United States is a member, along with 29 other nations. It matters. American diplomacy matters. American resolve matters. Putin's latest attack on Ukraine was premeditated and totally unprovoked. He rejected repeated efforts at diplomacy. He thought the West and NATO wouldn't respond. He thought he could divide us at home, in this chamber, in this nation. He thought he could divide us in Europe as well. But Putin was wrong. We are ready. We are united, and that's what we did. We stayed united. We prepared extensively and carefully. We spent months building coalitions of other freedom-loving nations in Europe and the Americas, from America to the Asian and African continents, to confront Putin. Like many of you, I spent countless hours unifying our European allies. We shared with the world in advance what we knew Putin was planning and precisely how we would try to falsify and justify his aggression. We countered Russia's lies with the truth. And now that he's acted, the free world is holding him accountable. along with 27 members of the European Union, including France, Germany, Italy, as well as countries like the United Kingdom, Canada, Japan, Korea, Australia, New Zealand, and many others, even Switzerland, are inflicting pain on Russia and supporting the people of Ukraine. Putin is now isolated from the world more than he has ever been. Together, along with our allies, we are right now enforcing powerful economic sanctions. We're cutting off Russia's largest banks in the international financial system, preventing Russia's central bank from defending the Russian ruble, making Putin's $630 billion war fund worthless. We're choking Russia's access. To technology that will sap its economic strength and weaken its military for years to come. Tonight, I say to the Russian oligarchs and the corrupt leaders who built billions of dollars off this violent regime, no more. The United States, I mean it. The United States Department of Justice is assembling a dedicated task force to go after the crimes of the Russian oligarchs. We're joining with European allies to find and seize their yachts, their luxury apartments, their private jets. We're coming for your ill-begotten gains. And tonight, I'm announcing that we will join our allies in closing off American airspace to all Russian flights, further isolating Russia and adding additional squeeze on their economy. He has no idea what's coming. The ruble has already lost 30% of its value. The Russian stock market has lost 40% of its value, and trading remains suspended. The Russian economy is reeling, and Putin alone is the one to blame. Together with our allies, we're providing support to the Ukrainians in their fight for freedom. Military assistance, economic assistance, humanitarian assistance. We're giving more than $1 billion of direct assistance to Ukraine, and will continue to aid the Ukrainian people as they defend their country and help ease their suffering. But let me be clear. Our forces are not engaged and will not engage in the conflict with Russian forces in Ukraine. Our forces are not going to Europe to fight Ukraine, but to defend our NATO allies in the event that Putin decides to keep moving west. For that purpose, we have mobilized American ground forces, air squadrons, ship deployments to protect NATO countries, including Poland, Romania, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. And as I've made crystal clear, the United States and our allies will defend every inch of territory that is NATO territory with the full force of our collective power. Every single inch. And we're clear-eyed. The Ukrainians are fighting back with pure courage. But the next few days, weeks, and months will be hard on them. Putin has unleashed violence and chaos. But while he may make gains on the battlefield, he'll pay a continuing high price over the long run. And a pound of Ukrainian people, proud, proud people, pound for pound, ready to fight with every inch of energy they have. They've known 30 years of independence, have repeatedly shown that they will not tolerate anyone who tries to take their country backwards. To all Americans, I'll be honest with you, as I always promised I would be. A Russian dictator invading a foreign country has cost around the world. And I'm taking robust action to make sure the pain of our sanctions is targeted at the Russian economy, and that we use every tool at our disposal to protect American businesses and consumers. Tonight, I can announce the United States has worked with 30 other countries to release 60 million barrels of oil from reserves around the world. America will lead that effort. releasing 30 million barrels of our own strategic petroleum reserve. And we stand ready to do more if necessary, united with our allies. These steps will help blunt gas prices here at home, but I know news about what's happening can seem alarming to all Americans. But I want you to know we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. When the history of this era is written, Putin's war in Ukraine will have left Russia weaker and the rest of the world stronger. Well, while it shouldn't, it shouldn't have taken something so terrible for people around the world to see what's at stake. Now everyone sees it clearly. We see the unity among leaders of nations, a more unified Europe, a more unified West. We see unity among the people who are gathering in cities and large crowds around the world, even in Russia, to demonstrate their support for the people of Ukraine. In the battle between democracy and autocracies, democracies are rising to the moment, and the world is clearly choosing the side of peace and security. This is the real test, and it's going to take time. So let us continue to draw inspiration from the iron will of the Ukrainian people. To our fellow Ukrainian Americans who forged the deep bond that connects our two nations, we stand with you. We stand with you. Putin may circle Kyiv with tanks, but he'll never gain the hearts and souls of the Iranian people. He'll never extinguish their love of freedom, and he will never weaken the resolve of the free world.
He said Iranian people. Oh, Joe. Come on, Joe.
We meet tonight.
I love the support for Ukraine, though.
Two of the hardest years this nation has ever faced. The pandemic has been punishing, and so many families are living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to keep up with the rising cost of food, gas, housing, and so much more. I understand, like many of you did. My dad had to leave his home in Scranton, Pennsylvania to find work. So like many of you, I grew up in a family when the price of food went up, it was felt throughout the family. It had an impact. That's when one of the first things I did as president was fight to pass the American Rescue Plan. Because people were hurting, we needed to act, and we did. Few pieces of legislation have done more at a critical moment in our history to lift us out of a crisis. It fueled our efforts to vaccinate the nation and combat COVID-19, delivered immediate economic relief to tens of millions of Americans. It helped put food on the table. Remember those long lines of cars waiting for hours just to get a box of food put in their trunk? It cut the cost of healthcare insurance. And as my dad used to say, it gave the people just a little bit of breathing room. Unlike the $2 trillion tax cut passed in the previous administration that benefited the top 1% of Americans, the American Rescue Plan helped working people and left no one behind.
Wait, hang on.
The American Rescue Plan helped working people and left no one behind. Folks, it worked. We created jobs, lots of jobs. In fact, our economy created over 6.5 million new jobs just last year. More jobs in 1 year than ever before in the history of the United States of America. The economy grew at a rate of 5.7 last year, the strongest growth rate in 40 years. And the first step in bringing fundamental change to our economy that hasn't worked for working people in this nation for too long. For the past 40 years, we were told a tax break for those at the top and benefits would trickle down and everyone would benefit. But that trickle-down theory led to a weaker economic growth, lower wages, bigger deficits, and a widening gap between the top and everyone else in nearly a century. Look, Vice President Harris and I ran for office, and I realize we have fundamental disagreements on this, but ran for office with a new economic vision for America. Invest in America, educate Americans, grow the workforce, build the economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down, because we know, because we know when the middle class grows, the poor go way up and the wealthy do very well. America used to have the best roads, bridges, and airports on earth. And now our infrastructure is ranked 13th in the world. We won't be able to compete for the jobs of the 21st century if we don't fix it. That's why it was so important to pass the bipartisan infrastructure law. And I thank my Republican friends for joining to invest and rebuild America. The single biggest investment in history. It was a bipartisan effort, and I want to thank the members of both parties who worked to make it happen. We're done talking about infrastructure weeks. We're now talking about an infrastructure decade. And look, it's going to transform America, to put us on a path to win the economic competition of the 21st century that we face with the rest of the world, particularly China. I've told Xi Jinping it's never been a good bet to bet against the American people. We'll create good jobs for millions of Americans, modernizing roads, airports, ports, waterways, all across America. And we'll do it to withstand the devastating effects of climate change and promote environmental justice. We'll build a national network of 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations. Begin to replace the poisonous lead pipes so every child, every American has clean water to drink at home and at school. We're going to provide affordable, high-speed internet for every American, rural, suburban, urban, and tribal communities. 4,000 projects have already been announced. Many of you have announced them in your districts. And tonight, I'm announcing that this year, we will start fixing over 65,000 miles of highway and 1,500 bridges in disrepair. And folks, when we use taxpayers' dollars to rebuild America, we're going to do it by buying American. Buy American products. Support American jobs. The federal government spends about $600 billion a year to keep this country safe and secure. There's been a law on the books for almost a century to make sure taxpayers' dollars support American jobs and businesses. Every administration, Democrat and Republican, says they'll do it, but we're actually doing it. We'll buy America to make sure everything from the deck of an aircraft carrier to the steel on highway guardrails is made in America from beginning to end. All of it, all of it. But folks, to compete for the jobs of the future, we also need a level playing field with China and other competitors. That's why it's so important to pass the Bipartisan Innovation Act sitting in Congress that will make record investments in emerging technologies and American manufacturing. We used to invest almost 2% of our GDP in research and development. We don't now. China is. Let me give you one example why it's so important to pass. If you travel 20 miles east of Columbus, Ohio, you'll find 1,000 empty acres of land. It won't look like much, but if you stop and look closely, you'll see a field of dreams, the ground on which America's future will be built. That's where Intel, the American company that helped build Silicon Valley, is going to build a $20 billion semiconductor megasite, up to 8 state-of-the-art factories in one place, 10,000 new jobs. And in those factories, the average job about $135,000 a year. some of the most sophisticated manufacturing in the world to make computer chips the size of a fingertip that power the world in everyday lives, from smartphones, technology, the internet, technology is yet to be invented. But that's just the beginning. Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger, who was here tonight, I don't know where Pat is. Pat, there you go, Pat, stand up. Pat came to see me and he told me they're ready to increase their investment from 20 billion to 100 billion. That would be the biggest investment in manufacturing in American history. And all they're waiting for is for you to pass this bill. So let's not wait any longer. Send it to my desk, I'll sign it, and we'll really take off in a big way. And folks, Intel is not alone. There's something happening in America. Just look around and you'll see an amazing story. The rebirth of pride that comes from stamping products made in America. The revitalization of American manufacturing. Companies are choosing to build new factories here when just a few years ago they would have gone overseas. That's what's happening. Ford is investing $11 billion in electric vehicles, creating 11,000 jobs across the country. GM is making the largest investment in its history, $7 billion to build electric vehicles, creating 4,000 jobs in Michigan. All told, 369,000 new manufacturing jobs were created in America last year alone. Folks, powered by people I've met like JoJo Burgess from generations of union steelworkers in Pittsburgh, who's here tonight. Where are you, JoJo? There you go. Thanks, buddy. As Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown says, and Sherrod Brown says it's time to bury the label Rust Belt. It's time to see the what used to be called the Rust Belt become the home of a significant resurgence of manufacturing. And with all the bright spots in our economy, record job growth, higher wages, too many families are struggling to keep up with their bills. Inflation is robbing them of gains they thought otherwise they would be able to feel. I get it. That's why my top priority is getting prices under control. Look, our economy roared back faster than almost anyone predicted. But the pandemic meant that businesses had a hard time hiring enough people because of the pandemic to keep up production in their factories. So you didn't have people making those beams that went into buildings because they were out. The factory was closed. The panic also disrupted the global supply chain. Factories close. When that happens, it takes longer to make goods and get them to the warehouses, to the stores, and prices go up. Look at cars last year. 1/3 of all the inflation was because of automobile sales. There weren't enough semiconductors to make all the cars that people wanted to buy. And guess what? Prices of automobiles went way up, especially used vehicles as well. And so we have a choice. One way to fight inflation is to drive down wages and make Americans poorer. I think I have a better idea to fight inflation. Lower your costs, not your wages. And folks, that means make more cars and semiconductors in America, more infrastructure and innovation in America, more goods moving faster and cheaper in America, more jobs where you can earn a good living in America. Instead of relying on foreign supply chains, let's make it in America. Look, economists Economists call this increasing the productive capacity of our economy. I call it building a better America. My plan to fight inflation will lower your costs and lower the deficit. 17 Nobel laureates in economics said my plan will ease long-term inflationary pressures. Top business leaders, and I believe most Americans support the plan. And here's the plan. First, cut the cost of prescription drugs. We pay more for the same drug produced by the same company in America than any other country in the world. Just look at insulin. 1 in 10 Americans has diabetes. In Virginia, I met a 13-year-old boy, the handsome young man standing up there, Joshua Davis. He and his dad both have type 1 diabetes, which means they need insulin every single day. Insulin costs about $10 a vial to make. That's what it costs the pharmaceutical company. But drug companies charge families like Joshua and his dad up to 30 times that amount. I spoke with Joshua's mom. Imagine what it's like to look at your child who needs insulin to stay healthy and have no idea how in God's name you're going to be able to pay for it. What it does to your family, but what it does to your dignity, your ability to look your child in the eye, to be the parent you expect yourself to be. I really mean to think about that. That's what I think about. You know, yesterday, Joshua's here tonight, but yesterday was his birthday. Happy birthday, buddy, by the way. For Joshua and 200,000 other young people with type 1 diabetes, let's cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month, so everyone can afford it. And drug companies will do very, very well, their profit margin. While we're at it, I know we have great disagreements on this floor with this. Let's let Medicare negotiate the price of prescription drugs. They already set the price for VA drugs. Look, the American Rescue Plan is helping millions of families with Affordable Care Act plans to save them $2,400 a year on their health premiums. Let's close the coverage gap and make these savings permanent. And second, let's cut energy costs for families, an average of $500 a year by combating climate change. Let's provide an investment tax credits to weatherize your home and your business, to be energy efficient and get a tax credit for it. Double America's clean energy production in solar, wind, and so much more. Lower the price of electric vehicles, saving another $80 a month that you're not going to have to pay at the pump. Folks, the third thing we can do to change the standard of living for hardworking folks is cut the cost of childcare. Cut the cost of childcare. Folks, if you live in a major city in America, you pay up to $14,000 a year for childcare per child. I was a single dad for 5 years, raising 2 kids. I had a lot of help, though. I had a mom, a dad, a brother, and a sister that really helped. But middle class and working folks shouldn't have to pay more than 7% of their income to care for the young children. My plan would cut the cost of child care in half for most families and help parents, including millions of women who left the workforce during the pandemic because they couldn't afford child care, to be able to get back to work, generating economic growth. But my plan doesn't stop there. It also includes home and long-term care, more affordable housing, pre-K for 3- and 4-year-olds. All these will lower costs to families. And under my plan, nobody, let me say this again, nobody earning less than $400,000 a year will pay an additional penny in new taxes. Not a single penny. I may be wrong, but my guess is if we took a secret ballot in this floor, that we'd all agree that the present tax system ain't fair. We have to fix it. I'm not looking to punish anybody. But let's make corporations and wealthy Americans start paying their fair share. Look, last year, like Chris Coons and Tom Carper and my distinguished Congresswoman, we come from the land of corporate America. There are more corporations incorporated in America than every other state in America combined. And I still won 36 years in a row. The point is, even they understand they should pay just a fair share. Last year, 55 of the Fortune 500 companies earned $40 billion in profit and paid zero in federal taxes. Now look, it's not fair. That's why I proposed a 15% minimum tax rate for corporations. And that's why in the G7 and other meetings overseas, we're able to put together, I was able to be somewhat helpful, 130 countries agree on a global minimum tax rate. So companies can't get out of paying their taxes at home by shipping jobs and factories overseas. It'll raise billions of dollars. That's why I propose closing loopholes for the very wealthy who don't pay who pay a lower tax rate than a teacher and a firefighter. So that's my plan, but we'll go in more detail later. We will grow the economy, lower the cost of families. So what are we waiting for? Let's get this done. We all know we've got to make changes. Folks, and while you're at it, confirm my nominees for the Federal Reserve, which plays a critical role in fighting inflation. My plan will not only lower costs and give families a fair shot, it will lower the deficit. The previous administration not only ballooned the deficit with those tax cuts for the very wealthy and corporations, it undermined the watchdogs, the job of those to keep pandemic relief funds being wasted. Remember we had those debates about whether or not those watchdogs should be able to see every day how much money was being spent, where was it going to the right place? But in my administration, the watchdogs are back. And we're going to go after the criminals who stole billions of relief money meant for small business and millions of Americans. And tonight, I'm announcing that the Justice Department will soon name a chief prosecutor for pandemic fraud. And look, I think we all agree, thank you. By the end of this year, the deficit will be down to less than half of what it was before I took office. The only president ever to cut the deficit by more than $1 trillion in a single year. Lowering your cost also meant demanding more competition. I'm a capitalist, but capitalism without competition is not capitalism. Capitalism without competition is exploitation. It drives up profits. And corporations have to compete. Their profits go up and your prices go up when they don't have to compete. Small businesses and family farmers and ranchers, I need not tell some of my Republican friends from those states. Guess what? You got 4 basic meat packing facilities. That's it. You play with them or you don't get to play at all. And you pay a hell of a lot more. A hell of a lot more because there's only 4. See what's happening with ocean carriers and moving goods in and out of America. During the pandemic, of half a dozen or less foreign-owned companies raised prices by as much as 1,000% and made record profits. Tonight, I'm announcing a crackdown on those companies overcharging American businesses and consumers. And folks, And as Wall Street firms take over more nursing homes, quality in those homes has gone down and costs have gone up. That ends on my watch. Medicare is going to set higher standards for nursing homes and make sure your loved ones get the care they deserve and that they inspect and they will look at closely. We're also going to cut costs to keep the economy going strong and giving workers a fair shot, provide more training and apprenticeships, hire them based on skills, not just their degrees. Let's pass the Paycheck Fairness Act and paid leave. Raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour and extend the child tax credit so no one has to raise a family in poverty. Let's increase Pell Grants, increase our historic support for HBCUs, and invest in what Jill, our First Lady who teaches full-time, calls America's best kept secret, community colleges. Look, let's pass the PRO Act. When a majority of workers want to form a union, they shouldn't be able to be stopped. When we invest in our workers and we build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out, together we can do something we haven't done in a long time, build a better America. For more than 2 years, COVID has impacted every decision in our lives and the life of this nation. And I know you're tired, frustrated, and exhausted. That doesn't even count the close to 1 million people who sit at a dining room table or a kitchen table and look at an empty chair because they lost somebody. But I also know this, because of the progress we've made, because of your resilience and the tools that we have been provided by this Congress, tonight I can say we're moving forward safely back to more normal routines. We've reached a new moment in the fight against COVID-19, where severe cases are down to a level not seen since July of last year. Just a few days ago, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention issued a new mask guidelines. Under the new guidelines, most Americans and most of the country can now go mask-free. And based on projections, more of the country will reach a point across the next couple of weeks. And thanks to the progress we've made in the past year, COVID-19 no longer need control our lives. I know some are talking about living with COVID-19, but tonight I say that we never will just accept living with COVID-19. We'll continue to combat the virus as we do other diseases. And because this virus mutates and spreads, we have to stay on guard. And here are 4 common sense steps as we move forward safely, in my view. First, stay protected with vaccines and treatments. We know how incredibly effective vaccines are. If you're vaccinated and boosted, you have the highest degree of protection. We'll never give up on vaccinating more Americans. Now, I know parents with kids under 5 are eager to see their vaccines authorized for their children. Scientists are working hard to get that done. We'll be ready with plenty of vaccines if and when they do. We're all ready. We are also ready with antiviral treatments. If you get COVID-19, the Pfizer pill reduces your chances of ending up in the hospital by 90%. I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world has. Pfizer is working overtime to get us 1 million pills this month and more than double that next month. And now we're launching the Test to Treat initiative. So people can get tested at a pharmacy, and if they prove positive, receive the antiviral pills on the spot at no cost. And folks, if you're immunocompromised or have some other vulnerability, we have treatments and free high-quality masks. We're leaving no one behind or ignoring anyone's needs as we move forward. On testing, we've made hundreds of millions of tests available, and you can order them for free to your doorstep. And we've already ordered free tests. If you already ordered free tests tonight, I'm announcing you can order another group of tests. Go to covidtest.gov starting next week, and you can get more tests. Second, we must prepare for new variants. Over the past, we've gotten much better at detecting new variants. If necessary, we'll be able to develop new vaccines within 100 days instead of maybe months or years. And if Congress provides the funds we need, we'll have new stockpiles of tests, masks, pills ready if needed. I can't promise a new variant won't come, but I can promise you we'll do everything within our power to be ready if it does. Third, we can end the shutdown of schools and businesses. We have the tools we need. It's time for America to get back to work and fill our great downtowns again with people. People working from home can feel safe and begin to return to their offices. We're doing that here in the federal government. The vast majority of federal workers will once again work in person. Our schools are open. Let's keep it that way. Our kids need to be in school. With 75% of adult Americans fully vaccinated and hospitalizations down by 77%, most Americans can remove their masks and stay in the classroom and move forward safely. We achieved this because we provided free vaccines, treatments, tests, and masks. Of course, continuing this costs money, so I'll not surprise you. I'll be back to see you all. And I'm going to soon send a request to Congress. The vast majority of Americans have used these tools and may want again. We may need them again. So I expect Congress, and I hope you'll pass that quickly. Fourth, we'll continue vaccinating the world. We've sent 475 million vaccine doses to 112 countries, more than any nation on earth. We won't stop because you can't build a wall high enough to keep out a vaccine. The vaccine can stop the spread of these diseases. You know, we've lost so much in COVID-19. Time with one another. The worst of all, the loss of life. Let's use this moment to reset. So stop looking at COVID as a partisan dividing line. See it for what it is, a god-awful disease. Let's stop seeing each other as enemies. Start seeing each other for who we are, fellow Americans. Look, we can't change how divided we've been. It was a long time in coming. But we can change how to move forward on COVID-19 and other issues that we must face together. I recently visited New York City Police Department days after the funerals of Officer Wilbur Mora and his partner, Officer Jason Rivera. They were responding to a 9/11 call when a man shot and killed them with a stolen gun. Officer Mora was 27 years old. Officer Rivera was 22 years old. Both Dominican Americans who grew up in the same streets that they later chose to patrol as police officers. I spoke with their families. I told them that we were forever in debt for their sacrifices and will carry on their mission to restore the trust and safety of every community deserves. Like some of you that have been around for a while, I've worked with you on these issues for a long time. I know what works. Investigating crime prevention and community policing, cops who walk the beat, who know the neighborhood, and who can restore trust and safety. Let's not abandon our streets or choose between safety and equal justice. Let's come together and protect our communities, restore trust, and hold law enforcement accountable. That's why the Justice Department has required body cameras, banned chokeholds, and restricted no-knock warrants for its officers. That's why the American Rescue Plan that you all provided $350 billion that cities, states, and counties can use to hire more police, invest in more proven strategies. Proven strategies like community violence interruption, trusted messengers, breaking the cycle of violence and trauma, giving young people some hope. We should all agree the answer is not to defund the police, it's to fund the police. Fund them. Fund them. Fund them with resources and training. Resources and training they need to protect our communities. I ask Democrats and Republicans alike to pass my budget and keep our neighborhoods safe. And we'll do everything in my power to crack down on gun trafficking of ghost guns that you can buy online, assemble at home, no serial numbers, can't be traced. I ask Congress to pass proven measures to reduce gun violence. Pass universal background checks. Why should anyone on the terrorist list be able to purchase a weapon? Why? Why? And folks, ban assault weapons with high-capacity magazines hold up to 100 rounds. You think the deer are wearing Kevlar vests? Look, repeal the liability shield. It makes gun manufacturers the only industry in America that can't be sued. The only one. Imagine had we done that with the tobacco manufacturers. These laws don't infringe on the Second Amendment. They save lives. The most fundamental right in America is the right to vote and have it counted. And look, it's under assault. In state after state, new laws have been passed, not only to suppress the vote, we've been there before, but to subvert the entire election. We can't let this happen. Tonight, I call on the Senate to pass the Freedom to Vote Act, pass the John Lewis Act, Voting Rights Act. And while you're at it, pass the Disclose Act so Americans know who's funding our elections. Look, tonight, I like to honor someone who dedicated his life to serve this country. Justice Breyer, an Army veteran, constitutional scholar, retiring Justice of the United States Supreme Court. Justice Breyer, thank you for your service. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean it. Get up, stand, let them see you. Thank you. And we all know, no matter what your ideology, we all know one of the most serious constitutional responsibility a president has is nominating someone to serve on the United States Supreme Court. As I did 4 days ago, I've nominated the Circuit Court of Appeals, Ketanji Brown Jackson, one of our nation's top legal minds, who continue in Justice Breyer's legacy of excellence. A former top litigator in private practice, a former federal public defender, from a family of public school educators and police officers. She's a consensus builder. Since she's been nominated, she's received a broad range of support, including the Fraternal Order of Police and former judges supported by Democrats and Republicans. Folks, if we're to advance liberty and justice, we need to secure our border and fix the immigration system. And as you might guess, I think we can do both. At our border, we've installed new technology like cutting-edge scanners to better detect drug smuggling. We've set up joint patrols with Mexico and Guatemala to catch more human traffickers. We're putting in place dedicated immigration judges in significant larger number so families fleeing persecution and violence can have their cases heard faster, and those who don't legitimately hear can be sent back. We're screening, we're securing commitments and supporting partners in South and Central America to host more refugees and secure their own borders. We can do all this while keeping lit the torch of liberty that has led the generation of immigrants to this land, my forebears and many of yours. Provide a pathway to citizenship for dreamers, those with temporary status, farm workers, essential workers. Revise our laws so businesses have workers they need and families don't wait decades to reunite. It's not only the right thing to do, it's economically smart thing to do. That's why the immigration reform is supported by everyone from labor unions to religious leaders to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Let's get it done once and for all. Folks, advancing liberty and justice also requires protecting the rights of women. The constitutional right affirmed by Roe v. Wade, standing precedent for half a century, is under attack as never before. If you want to go forward, not backwards, we must protect access to health care, preserve a woman's right to choose, and continue to advance maternal health care for all Americans. And folks, for our LGBTQ plus Americans, let's finally get the Bipartisan Equality Act to my desk. The onslaught of state laws targeting transgender Americans and their families, it's simply wrong. And I said last year, especially to our younger transgender Americans, I'll always have your back as your president so you can be yourself and reach your God-given potential. Folks, as I've just demonstrated, while it often appears we do not agree, and that we do agree on a lot more things than we acknowledge. I signed 80 bipartisan bills into law last year, from preventing government shutdowns, to protecting Asian Americans from still too common hate crimes, to reforming military justice, and will soon be strengthening the Violence Against Women Act that I first wrote 3 decades ago. It's important. It's important for us to show the nation we can come together and do big things. So tonight I'm offering a unity agenda for the nation. 4 big things we can do together, in my view. First, beat the opioid epidemic. There's so much we can do. Increase funding for prevention, treatment, harm reduction, and recovery. Get rid of outdated rules and stop doctors stop doctors prescribing treatments. Stop the flow of illicit drugs by working with state and local law enforcement to go after the traffickers. And if you're suffering from addiction, you should know you're not alone. I believe in recovery, and I celebrate the 23 million Americans in recovery. Second, let's take on mental health, especially among our children whose lives and education have been turned upside down. The American Rescue Plan gave schools money to hire teachers and help students make up for lost learning. I urge every parent to make sure your school does just that. Have the money. We can all play a part. Sign up to be a tutor or a mentor. Children were also struggling before the pandemic: bullying, violence, trauma, and the harms of social media. As Frances Haugen, who is here tonight with us, has shown, we must hold social media platforms accountable for the national experiment they're conducting on our children for profit. Folks, thank you. Thank you for the courage you showed. It's time to strengthen privacy protections, ban targeted advertising to children, demand tech companies stop collecting personal data on our children, and let's get all Americans the mental health services they need. More people can turn for help, and full parity between physical and mental health care if we treat it that way in our insurance. Look, the third piece of that agenda is support our veterans. Veterans are the backbone and the spine of this country. They're the best of us. I've always believed that we have a sacred obligation to equip those we send to war and care for those in their family when they come home. My administration is providing assistance in job training, housing, and now helping lower-income veterans get VA care debt-free. And our troops in Iraq and Afghanistan faced many dangers, one being stationed at bases breathing in toxic smoke from burn pits. Many of you have been there. I've been in and out of Iraq and Afghanistan over 40 times. These burn pits that incinerate waste, the waste of war, medical and hazardous material, jet fuel, and so much more. And they come home, many of the world's fittest and best trained warriors in the world, never the same. Headaches, numbness, dizziness, a cancer that would put them in a flag draped coffin. I know. One of those soldiers was my son, Major Bo Biden. I don't know for sure. One of those soldiers was my son, Major Bo Biden. I don't know for sure if the burn pit that he lived near, that his hooch was near, in Iraq and earlier than that in Kosovo, is the cause of his brain cancer, the disease of so many other troops. But I am committed to find out everything we can, committed to military families like Danielle Robinson from Ohio, the widow of Sergeant First Class Heath Robinson. He was born a soldier, Army National Guard, combat medic in Kosovo and Iraq, stationed near Baghdad, just yards from burn pits the size of football fields. Danielle is here with us tonight. They love going to Ohio State football games. But their daughter, with cancer from prolonged exposure to burn pits, ravaged Heath's lungs and body. Danielle says Heath was a fighter to the very end. He didn't know how to stop fighting, and neither did she. Through her pain, she found purpose to demand that we do better. Tonight, Danielle, we are going to do better. The VA is pioneering new ways of linking toxic exposure to disease, already helping more veterans get benefits. And tonight, I'm announcing we're expanding eligibility to veterans suffering from 9 respiratory cancers. I'm also calling on Congress to pass a law to make sure veterans devastated by toxic exposure in Iraq and Afghanistan finally get the benefits of the comprehensive health care they deserve. And fourth and last, let's end cancer as we know it. This is personal.
The best way to strengthen America's economy.
This is personal to me and to Jill and to Kamala and so many of you. So many of you have lost someone you love. Husband, wife, son, daughter, mom, dad. Cancer is the number 2 cause of death in America, second only to heart disease. Last month, I announced the plan to supercharge the cancer moonshot that President Obama asked me to lead 6 years ago. Our goal is to cut cancer death rates by at least 50% over the next 25 years. I think we can do better than that. Turn cancers from death sentences into treatable diseases. More support for patients and their families. To get there, I call on Congress to fund what I call ARPA-H, Advanced Research Projects Agency for Health, patterned after DARPA and the Defense Department. Projects that led in DARPA to the internet, GPS, and so much more to make our forces more safer and be able to wage war with more clarity. ARPA will have a singular purpose: to drive breakthroughs in cancer, Alzheimer's and diabetes, and more. A unity agenda for the nation. We can do these things. It's within our power, and I don't see a partisan edge to any one of those 4 things. My fellow Americans, tonight, we've gathered in this sacred space a citadel of democracy. In this capital, generation after generation of Americans have debated great questions, amid great strife, and have done great things. We fought for freedom, expanded liberty, debated totalitarianism and terror. We built the strongest, freest, and most prosperous nation the world has ever known. Now is the hour, our moment of responsibility, our test of resolve and conscience, of history itself. It is in this moment that our character of this generation is formed. Our purpose is found. Our future is forged. Well, I know this nation. We'll meet the test, protect freedom and liberty, expand fairness and opportunity, and we will save democracy. As hard as those times have been, I'm more optimistic about America today than I've been my whole life, because I see the future that's within our grasp, because I know there's simply nothing beyond our capacity. We're the only nation on earth that has always turned every crisis we've faced into an opportunity. The only nation that can be defined by a single word: possibilities. So on this night, on our 245th year as a nation, I've come to report on the state of the nation, the state of the union. And my report is this: the state of the union is strong because you, the American people, are strong. We are stronger today. We are stronger today than we were a year ago. And we'll be stronger a year from now than we are today. This is our moment to meet and overcome the challenges of our time. And we will, as one people, one America, the United States of America. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you. Go get him.
On the left right there, that's Senator Patrick Leahy. He's actually retiring from the Senate. What was you guys' thoughts on the speech? Did you guys like it? Did you guys not like it? In all honesty, I actually pretty much liked it. Can he go through with his vision? No. There's a lot of things that I disagreed with him, but whenever he's able to, formulate, he's a pretty good speaker. He's always been a really good public speaker. He's always been a good debater. I'm pretty much certain if he ran back in 2016, my God, he would have beat Trump. But can he go through with his vision? State of the Unions is always kind of like just hot air most of the time. Overall, I would rate the speech maybe 6 out of 10, 5.5, maybe a 5 to 6. Going back to the election, we have some updates out of the Texas primaries. Beto O'Rourke has won the Democratic primary for the governor's race, so he will be representing the Democratic Party in November to run against incumbent Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott has won and defeated all other candidates. Allen West actually came in second, and that's with 57% of the vote in. Allen West comes in second in the primary for Texas governor, Don Huffines comes in third. Very disappointing night for Don Huffines. If you were in Texas, if you live in Texas, you'd be able to see like Don Huffines all over the place, but that was not able to transcribe into a solid win in any shape or form, any way, shape, or form. For Don Huffines, he comes in third against Chad Prather. Chad Prather absolutely had zero chance at winning, as did everyone else below Huffines and West. So West comes in second with 57% of the vote in. Don Huffines comes in third. And then going on for Attorney General, in the Democratic primary, we have Rochelle Garza will probably be going into a runoff election against Joe Jaworski. So that will be the Democratic primary for the Attorney General race. And in the Texas Attorney General race, Ken Paxton is at 42.2% against George P. Bush's 21% and Eva Guzman's 20.3%. George P. Bush was second earlier in the night and then lost his second place against Guzman. And then throughout the State of the Union address, I've been watching the results from the Attorney General race, and George P. Bush has been slowly and incrementally increasing his lead against Guzman, and he finally took over Guzman earlier in the speech, around halfway through the speech, I believe. And then going down to Lieutenant Governor for the Democratic primary, we have Mike Collier is at 44.3%. Carla Braley has been increasing her lead in third place against Michelle Beckley. So could she overtop Michelle Beckley for that second place to advance to the second round of voting? We will see it later on. I probably won't be able, I don't think I'm going to be able to cover the rest of the election until races are called. I probably will do a video tomorrow. I think I will do a video tomorrow because I really want to focus on this lieutenant governor race, as well as the potential for George P. Bush advancing to the primary into the second round of voting. So I actually will probably make a video tomorrow, just kind of like a general analysis of the race. And of course, you know, not really going to be talking about governors. I'll probably say that Beto O'Rourke could possibly make it a little bit closer if he runs the same campaign he did in 2018. But that is very hard for that. I mean, the national environment is just totally dead set against Democrats as of right now. And so I believe that Greg Abbott, despite how everyone sees Greg Abbott, I do believe that Greg Abbott can and will win by at least 10 points against Beto O'Rourke. So it could be a little bit closer than 2018, but we will see later on in November. So yeah, so expect the video tomorrow. I guess we're mainly just going to be discussing the Attorney General race and that Democratic primary for Lieutenant Governor, because I really do want to see if Michelle Beckley can pull this off. But it's about 11,000 votes separating the two, with 51% of the vote in, and she is doing pretty disappointingly in Denton County, which is her home county. So could we see Braley overtake Michelle Beckley, or could we see Michelle Beckley advance to the runoff? We don't know. We will find out at the end of the night. I'll be watching the race throughout the night after this live stream. But I'm glad that Biden started off his speech with just talking about Ukraine. I love to see the support from Congress for Ukraine. And it is good to see that Biden is moving against Russia economically, and as well as closing the as well as closing airspace, civilian airspace to Russia. And I believe also at this point, Trump leaving the Open Skies Treaty, I feel like that would have happened. I feel like that would have happened if that I feel like that would have happened even if Trump hadn't have left it, or if Clinton hadn't have left the Open Skies Treaty. It's a very interesting time of geopolitics that we're living in right now. George P. Bush will make it to the runoff. I dare you to jinx it, God. He said Russian flights were banned and that we were sending forces to NATO countries. Yep. I overall agree with that. I don't agree with how long it's been taking him to do it. He's basically kind of been following the lead of Europe, even though I feel like it should be the opposite. The United States should be taking a leading role, but it's kind of more feels like Europe makes a decision and then the United States makes the decision. So overall, let me actually go ahead and do a poll. Do you approve or disapprove of Biden State of the Union? I'll ask y'all. Build the wall chant heard when Biden discussed immigration during State of the Union. Let me see if they can... if anyone caught that heckle. Like, there was a heckle. And if you guys were wondering, whenever everyone started booing, that wasn't them booing Trump or Biden. They were booing someone that literally jumped up and said, like, he said something about the troops, and then they were like, and then someone else like heckled him and said, like, all 13 of them. And if you're wondering what that meant, they were referring to 13 soldiers that were killed at during a bombing that took place during the fall of Kabul after Kabul had already fell. So that's whenever everyone started to boo them, was whenever someone came up and said all 13 of them. I think both parties are very unpopular, but I have the opinion that a lot of Americans will vote for the Dems because they are a lesser of two evils. The national environment disagrees with you. Like, if I can go to Real Clear Politics, I can pull up a bunch of these polls from all these different agencies that, let me find, so Biden's job approval, and then we will find generic congressional votes. So generic congressional votes, we have Politico that has Democrats up 4 points. And then we have Harvard-Harris, Republicans up 2 points. We have an ABC Washington Post poll with Republicans up 7. We have a Rasmussen. Rasmussen is pretty centric to the Republicans, but they have Republicans up 13. We have a Federalist with Republicans up 6. We have a Quinnipiac with Republicans up 2. And then the other one that we had that had Democrats up a pretty substantial amount was an Economist YouGov poll conducted between 2/19 and 2/22, right before the invasion of Ukraine, and that had Democrats up 6. So you could say, yeah, the Democrats believe that the Republicans are the less of two evils, but especially after the fall of Kabul, and I mean, you can see when this happened. Like Democrats were pretty much leading all the way up until Kabul fell. And after the fall of Kabul, we just saw this just change in attitude, and it's just one bad news after another. So even after the fall of Kabul, generic support for Democrats was still leading. They were leading by about 2 points. And then there was this drop in support for Republicans in October, which went down to about 3 points. But then both parties lost a crap ton of approval during October, which went down to about a 3.5 point lead for Democrats. And then back in November was whenever we saw the complete change in attitude toward Democrats in the generic congressional polling, and then Republicans got up to a 4.2% lead in generic congressional polling, and that's the average from Real Clear Politics. And then back in February, we saw a similar number, about 4 points on the average, and then right now, Democrats or Republicans are leading the generic congressional ballot by 3.7 points. Okay, Biden is getting blamed for stuff he can't really control. Yes, I know he's getting blamed. Everyone knows he's getting blamed for stuff that he can't control, but just like you've said in conversations we've had, that's what happens in elections. You know, they always get whatever happens, it always gets blame on the incumbent president, and it just happens. But if I'm an independent voter, why would I vote for the party that is against science and supported an act of domestic tootlism? In your opinion, you could say that it was an act of that, but I think we've had this conversation before. I can't remember the polls that I looked up about it, but obviously that's just not on the minds of people right now. People are worried about inflation, people are worried about gas prices, people are worried about the economy, people are worried about World War III starting right now. It's people, to say it frankly, like the January 6th incident riot just got swept under the rug. Like, as much as you say, like, yeah, this is whatever, Trump is not on the ballot. Like, Democrats painted that in such a way that it was always about Trump, because Trump was the one that got impeached for it. So that actually comes back to bite Democrats in the ass, because if you start saying, this is all Trump, this is all Trump, this is all Trump, and then the next election comes around and then that person is not on the ballot, it's just Republicans on the ballot. Like, we can't blame one person and then try to blame Republicans whenever the next election comes around, whenever that person's not on the ballot. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see how this turns out. I believe that Republicans are going to do pretty well. I believe Republicans are going to take the House of Representatives. I don't know by how much, but I do believe that Republicans are going to take the House of Representatives. Everything could change between now. It is March 1st. We're only just now in the first primary of this election season. So we are still waiting. Oh, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. George P. Bush, let's go. Let's go, please. He's in second place. We need him to advance to this runoff. Please, George P. Bush, go to the runoff. I never mentioned Trump. Well, I know. I'm not saying you did. I'm saying, like, you brought up the January 6th riot, and so I'm saying, like, they supported it. Well, the way that the January 6th incident was framed, it was all about Trump. It wasn't about Republicans. It was about Trump. So if you're to say, like, well, it's about, I don't think it will sway 2022, which will be a red wave year. In politics, everything is on the ballot, so everything defended Trump, and he will be campaigning with a lot of people. Exactly. Yeah, true. And this is especially, yes, a Trump election, but since he is not directly on the ballot, and I know this because of all of there's a lot of, like, progressive people that I know that are just not interested in this election because they don't care. Unless Trump is on the ballot, you're not going to turn out all of the 84 million people that turned out to vote for Biden. That's just not going to happen. The only reason that happened is because Trump was on the ballot. But because of the performance of the Biden administration, we could see it's not only just because of that, it's also because of the disappointment of the Biden administration. That's not to say Biden hasn't made accomplishments. He certainly has made accomplishments, but at least up to this point, he is doing a very disappointing job according to a pretty large section of voters that vote Democratic, mainly progressive voters. Yes, they're a very small portion of the population, but that's what you need. Because Democrats are like, we got 84 million votes. Yeah, are they going to turn out for you again? Probably not. I agree. The electorate is much more anti-Biden than Trump, but in a way he's on the ballot. Yeah. You're also forgetting the fact that 20 was a presidential election year. I get that it was a presidential election year, but we're also talking about a midterm that is exceptionally going to be higher turnout. This is going to be higher turnout than 2018. 2018 was a high turnout midterm election. Let me actually look at the midterm election. How much time we got? It's 9:30. I guess we're gonna bring on the good old Backstar on, since he's tired of typing. I love StreamYard Premium now. It's great. Love the background music. Dan Patrick has apparently won the Republican primary for the state of Texas in the lieutenant governor race, and we're still waiting on. So yeah, Michelle Beckley keeps losing that lead. She's now within 1.9 points. So again, and just like I said earlier, all of this is going to Louis Gohmert. Now, could that make a difference in the race between Bush and Guzman? So anyway, we're going to go ahead and add Mr. Backstar on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well,
hang on, let me make sure that people can hear you.
Well, first turn this music down. I can't even hear myself think.
Yeah, I was about to do that.
But look, in my opinion,
yeah, I was about to do that.
This election, hold on, there's an echo. I can't do this echo now.
Well, on the stream, no, I was testing the volume just to make sure people can hear you.
Well, this midterm election, Democrats not gonna turn out 85 million votes. All right. You also got to factor in a lot of Republicans, specifically suburban Republicans, voted for Biden. And they're not going to vote for, I don't think they're going to vote for Joe Biden in 2024 unless Donald Trump is the Republican nominee. Beto O'Rourke is not going to win in Texas.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because number one, he's a progressive Democrat in a deep red Republican state in the South. This fool get up here talk about taking everybody's guns away. How you gonna sit up here take some people guns away? Talk about taking guns away. You from Texas? That's all people love down there in Texas is guns. What happened to Matthew McConaughey? I thought he was running.
No, he never. He came out and he said that he wasn't gonna run, so that's why we never saw uh, Matthew McConaughey run. There's a cop in this room. What the hell?
Yeah, they didn't make sure the Trump people don't go in there and try and disrupt the counting of the votes.
Yeah, this is apparently like that bill me and you talked about. And so now it's like legally required that they have live stream cameras in here so people can just get on and just watch.
What bill?
The Texas voter bill that got passed. I mean, you had a whole conversation about it when it happened.
Talking about that bill that everybody was saying was talking about voter restrictions.
Yeah, it was like the voter restriction bill.
Well, Stacey Abrams, she running again in Georgia.
Oh hell! When's the Georgia election?
I don't know. I know our elections. Democrats have a good map in North Carolina when it comes to the congressional races.
May 24th, 2022. So Texas, so whenever this runoff happens, need to figure out when this runoff is going to be, because the one that I'm looking at, I don't know if you've been watching that long. Mainly, I'm wanting to watch to see who wins the Texas lieutenant governor race.
Wow.
On the Democratic side.
Wow.
Michelle Beckley.
Who is that?
Michelle Beckley, she was my former representative from before I moved. And she's just like she's basically like a progressive Democrat that took out a incumbent Republican back in 2018. But I mean, there's not enough votes. I mean, more Republicans are voting in the Republican primary than in Democrats in their primary.
Because Democrats don't turn out for primary elections.
But Dawn Huffines did a very disappointing job in this election. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are disappointed. I never expected him to win anyway, but I'm pretty surprised that he's shown up in third goddamn place.
Didn't Trump endorse him, or did he endorse Abbott?
He endorsed Abbott. Fucking Alan West is in second place now.
Isn't Alan West from Florida?
Yes.
So how the fuck he get to Texas?
Moved here.
So he's a carpetbagger.
Little bit, yeah. In Texas 28, in the Democratic primary, you hear about that?
Well, no, what happened?
There's a incumbent about to get removed. Like an incumbent is about to lose his primary. Henry Cuellar, apparently a moderate Democrat in District 28, which encompasses like some of the Rio Grande Valley.
Well, he about to lose his seat.
He's about to lose against the progressive Democrat.
See,
that's going to be the interesting thing to see if how Hispanic voters in those areas that voted for Trump are going to react to a progressive being on the ballot.
They ain't going to vote for him. That's what's going to happen. Because a lot of Hispanics, most Hispanics across the country typically vote Republican. And see, the problem with Democrats is most African American voters are single issued voters. Okay. A lot of Hispanics are not. So the common myth about Hispanic voters, the only thing they care about is immigration, which is a big fucking lie. It's the problem with Democrats. They don't come out here and talk about nothing else besides immigration. So yeah, they
Yeah.
going that.
Apparently, the incumbent is also under investigation by the FBI. I don't know what for. So Henry Sealer. Why is he under investigation?
Probably because he stole some money.
January 19th, 2022, the FBI raided Sealer's Laredo home and campaign office and removed several items, including cases and at least one computer, as a part of a federal probe relating to Azerbaijan, a country that has been criticized for its caviar diplomacy. On January 21st, the federal grand jury issued subpoenas for records related to Sealer, his wife, and at least one campaign staffer concerning anything of value that they may have offered by business leaders or foreign officials, and any work, act, favor, or service that they may have provided at the behest of certain foreign government officials, businesses, and others. So supposedly, he's doing some, what is caviar diplomacy?
Yeah, that's a question for Google.
It's a lobbying strategy of Azerbaijan consisting of costly invitations of foreign politicians and employees of international organizations to Azerbaijan at the expense of the host country. Caviar diplomacy also includes expensive gifts presented as a tribute to the Eastern tradition. So apparently he's just accepting gifts from foreign nationals for some sort of favors.
Is this a Republican?
It's pronounced Queller. Okay.
Is this guy a Republican?
Democrat.
Well, that's a damn shame.
He's a member of the New Democrat Coalition and the Blue Dog Coalition. He was on
The Blue Dogs are fucking dead.
Yeah. I remember whenever that was big back in like 2014 to like 2018.
What?
Blue Dogs.
They were dead before that.
They officially just like the final nail in the coffin was whenever Height Camp lost in North Dakota. All those Blue Dogs lost in like North Dakota, Missouri. What else was there? Indiana. But Queller was on. He's on the Committee of Appropriations, on the Committee of Homeland Security, and then he's on the After School Caucuses, Congressional Hispanic Caucus, Blue Dog Coalition.
Wait, whoa. The
What?
After School Caucus?
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Were established in order to build support for after-school programs and increase resources for after-school care. Lisa Murkowski and Tina Smith and Representative David Silline and Don Young serve as co-chairs of the bipartisan caucus. He's also on the United States Congressional International Convention Caucus, the U.S. Japan Caucus, and the New Democrat Coalition.
What about, what happened to the House Freedom Caucus?
Hang on real quick. All right, sorry about that. So apparently I did a poll out of 12 people. They said 67% they disapproved of the speech. What was your thoughts on the speech, Backstar?
I didn't even watch the damn speech, to be honest
You
with
didn't?
you. Nope. I was busy.
It was okay.
I was outside smoking me a couple cigarettes. When I came back in, I've been reading this textbook and taking these notes. I don't. All Biden said was, we're gonna uh we're going to shut the airspace down. The state of our union is strong, and everybody, all the Democrats clap, all the Republicans sit there and look stupid. There was probably some people in there heckling.
Yeah, there was one heckle. There was one lady that he started talking about the troops, and then someone was just like, all 13 of them.
That sounds like something Marjorie Taylor Greene would say.
I know. I think it was like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Lauren Boebert. I bet money that it was one of them.
I don't understand. How the hell, how does somebody like that just get elected into Congress? Like, she's sitting up here. This member of Congress put up a trans flag, something, and she's get up here and post some ignorant shit on the wall. Like, what is your malfunction, lady? Like, what is wrong with you?
There's video of her heckling.
Yeah, like they need to stop inviting her to the State of the Union. Like, if you don't like the president, just don't fucking come. Come on now.
Wait. I think I got the Twitter video.
Are you gonna play it on the stream?
No. I'm trying to find it. And I also have to head out in the next minute or two, so nah. I'll probably find another. I'll send you a link to the video if I find it.
All right. Well, I'm out.
All right. Thank you for joining.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. How was the stream so far? It went good. We're about to end it now. I've been streaming for 3 hours. I've been doing so much streaming this week. This has been a good week for the channel. Although not a good week for the world, but good week for the channel in terms of how many people have been watching. It's good to see that you guys are interested in my content. So go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you guys want to see more content, hit that bell notification icon if you are new. And also just hit the bell notification icon, subscribe, and more. So again, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and take care.